Good morning, students. Once again, welcome back to the online class organized by Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan Regional Office, Jabalpur. And today, in this video, we will continue with the Chapter 1, Class 8th Science, Crop Production and Management. And as you all know, that in the yesterday's video, we had finished the manure and its method of preparation. And let me revise one more time what is manure, and after that we will continue with the fertilizers. So manures are obtained from, as you can see here, manure is an organic substance. Manure is an organic substance obtained from the decomposition of plants and animal waste. Manure is obtained by the decomposition of plants and animal waste. So that means it is an organic material. And manure is less harmful than fertilizers. So after completing manure, now we will move on to fertilizer. Fertilizers are chemical substances which are rich in a particular nutrient. Now, one major difference between the manure and the fertilizer. Let me tell you about this. First of all, you will have to read this line very clearly. Only then I will tell you the difference. Fertilizers are those chemicals which are rich in a particular nutrient. इनके अंदर क्या होता है, only one or two type of particular nutrients are present in a very high amount. Otherwise, they do not have all the nutrients required for the plants. But what happens in the case of manure? Manure provides almost all types of nutrients but in smaller amounts. So this is a major difference between manure and fertilizer. What is the difference? Manures provide us almost all types of nutrients but in small amounts, but fertilizers provide us only one or two or maximum three types of nutrients but in large quantities. Fertilizers are produced in factories. Again, one very much important difference here. Fertilizers are factory made. Fertilizers are made inside the factories, but in the previous topic you studied that manure is prepared by the farmers inside their fields in the compost pits. So this is again a difference. Some examples of fertilizers are urea, ammonium sulfate, superphosphate, potash and NPK. Now let me tell you about these fertilizers one by one. Urea is generally used by the farmers to provide nitrogen. Which nutrient is given by urea? Which nutrient is available in large quantities in urea? It is nitrogen. So the soils in which nitrogen is in less amount, urea is provided. And the second fertilizer is ammonium sulfate. Again, it is for nitrogen. Ammonium or ammonia or urea, all these are used for nitrogen. Third is superphosphate. Superphosphate is used for phosphorus. Superphosphate is used for phosphorus. The formula for phosphorus element is P4. Now next is potash. Potash is for potassium. Potash is used for potassium. And a very important fertilizer is NPK. What is NPK and what does NPK denote here? Now let me explain. N for nitrogen, P for phosphorus, N for nitrogen, P for phosphorus and K for potassium. So NPK is also a very important fertilizer for farmers because it provides the soil three types of nutrients in large quantities. And what are those three nutrients? It is nitrogen, denoted by N. It is phosphorus, denoted by P. And third is potassium, denoted by K. As you can see here, NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. The use of fertilizers has helped farmers to get better yields of crop. What is the use of fertilizer? Yeah, what does fertilizer do? Fertilizer helps the farmers to get better yield of crops. यानी कि फर्टिलाइजर की मदद से किसान ज्यादा उपज उसी जमीन के जो लैंड का पीस होता है उसी पीस ऑफ लैंड में ज्यादा मात्रा में पैदावार कर सकते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल इट इज बेसिकली यूज्ड फॉर व्हीट, पैडी एंड मेज. But there is one darker side of using the fertilizers in excessive amount. And what is that darker side? The excessive use of fertilizer has made the soil less fertile. The excessive use means, आपने हिंदी में कहावत सुनी होगी, अति सर्वत्र वर्जियेत, means the excess of everything is harmful. So this also is true in the case of fertilizers. If fertilizers are used in a large amount in excessive quantity, then the soil becomes less fertile. Now this is a very funny thing that their name is fertilizers, but they make the soil less fertile. So fertilizers also become a source of water pollution. One more negative point about the fertilizer is fertilizers are a very big source of water pollution. Now you must be wondering how. What is the connection between the fertilizers and water pollution? So let me explain this. Suppose I am a farmer and I am using fertilizers in very much high amount in my fields, and suddenly a heavy downpour or heavy rainfall occurs and my field is full of water, and after some time that water goes and mixes in the water bodies like river or ponds. So do you think that the fertilizer will be dissolved in this rainwater and automatically the water bodies will also get polluted because of this fertilizer? Of course it happens. यानी कि जब भी मैं बहुत ज्यादा अमाउंट में फर्टिलाइजर इस्तेमाल करता हूं तो रेन वाटर उसको डिसॉल्व कर लेता है एंड अल्टीमेटली ये फर्टिलाइजर हमारी वाटर बॉडीज तक पहुंच जाता है. Therefore, in order to maintain the fertility of the soil, we have to substitute fertilizers by organic manure. That means we should use organic manure prepared by the farmer inside their field from dead and decaying rotting material, but we should use fertilizers in very less quantity. Only when it is utmost necessary, only then we should use the fertilizers. Otherwise we should avoid them. Or what we can do to maintain the fertility of the soil? One very important solution has been given. Just read it very carefully. Leave the field uncultivated. Leave the field uncultivated or fallow in between two crops. Means we should not grow crops after crops and crops after crops without leaving any gap. That means it is wrong. We should always leave some time gap between two crops, and for that time the field is left uncultivated, and in meanwhile that land is called fallow land. The use of manure improves the soil texture. Again, this is a very much important difference between the manure and fertilizers, that manure improves the soil texture. Soil texture means structure of soil or the quality of soil. Manure improves it, but fertilizers destroy the texture of the soil. And what is a very important feature of manure? That its water retaining capacity is also increased when manure is used. Means manure also increases the water retention capacity of the soil. But if we use fertilizers, the water retention capacity will not be increased, or on the other side it will be deteriorated. It replenishes the soil with all the nutrients. Yes, this is what I told you earlier in the topic, that manure replenishes means manure gives almost all types of nutrients to the soil, though there are a very little amount of nutrients in manure, but almost all types of nutrients are present in the manure. And what about the fertilizers? They give only 1, 2 or maximum 3 nutrients, but in large quantities. Now, one more important solution to maintain or method to maintain the fertility of the soil. Another method of replenishing the soil with nutrient is through crop rotation. What we can do crop rotation. In class 9th you will study crop rotation in detail, but let me give you information about what is crop rotation. Now, what do you understand by rotation word? This is a very common word. You must have heard this word in your daily life. Rotation, you must have seen in your class also that seating is not always constant. It is always in rotation. So what happens that some students will sit on in front for some days. After that some other students will sit here, so every student will get the chance to sit in the front. In the same way, crop rotation is also there. Crop rotation means we should not cultivate the same crop. After that crop. Means if we are growing wheat, then we should not only cultivate wheat alone. After wheat we should grow pulses. After that something else. Means we should not again and again repeat the crop of wheat. This is called crop rotation. Now let me explain according to the NCERT. This can be done by growing different crops alternately. Means we should grow alternate crops. Alternate crop means the same crop should not be repeated. Earlier farmers in northern India used to grow legumes as a fodder crop in one season and wheat in the next season. What actually happened in northern India? Farmers grow legumes. Legumes is a you can say like beans plant. इन्हें हिंदी में कहते हैं फलीदार पौधे, जैसे कि पल्सेस होती हैं, दालें होती हैं, ये लेग्यूमिनस प्लांट्स कहलाते हैं. These all are called leguminous plants. So what does farmer do here? Farmers used to grow legume plants as fodder. Fodder means चारे वाली फसल के रूप में इन्हें उगाते थे in one season and then they grow wheat in the next season. What is the use of this method? This helped in the replenishment of the soil with nitrogen, and this method increases the amount of nitrogen in the soil. Farmers are being encouraged to adopt this practice, and now farmers are encouraged. In the previous classes, you have learned about rhizobium bacteria. I hope you must remember this word, rhizobium bacteria. These bacteria are present in the root nodules. These bacteria are present in the nodules of the roots of leguminous plants. मीन्स जो भी दाल वाले पौधे होते हैं, फली वाले पौधे होते हैं, जिनसे हमें दालें मिलती हैं, पल्सेस मिलती हैं, उन सभी जो प्लांट्स होते हैं, उन सभी प्लांट्स को हम लेग्यूमिनस प्लांट्स कहते हैं. एंड ये जो राइजोबियम बैक्टीरिया होता है, ये लेग्यूमिनस प्लांट्स के रूट में बटन लाइक स्ट्रक्चर्स होती हैं, इन रूट नोड्यूल्स कहा जाता है. मींस व्हाट आर रूट नोड्यूल्स? रूट नोड्यूल्स आर बटन लाइक स्ट्रक्चर्स प्रेजेंट इन द रूट्स ऑफ द लेग्यूमिनस प्लांट्स. नाउ राइजोबियम बैक्टीरिया रिसाइड्स देयर. रिसाइड्स मतलब वहीं पर रहता है, रिसाइड्स इनसाइड द रूट नोड्यूल्स ऑफ लेग्यूमिनस प्लांट्स. वन मोर इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन अराइजेज हियर. What does rhizobium do there? वहां पर rhizobium करता क्या है? So rhizobium, this answer has been given in the next line. Rhizobium fix atmospheric nitrogen. Let me underline this. They means rhizobium. Rhizobium fix atmospheric nitrogen for plants. Here they perform the nitrogen fixation. Rhizobium and other some bacteria are also there. Name has not been given. Rhizobium like bacteria, they fix atmospheric nitrogen. What do? They fix atmospheric nitrogen for the plants, and that's why we say. And what is the use of this nitrogen? Leguminous plants use this nitrogen to produce protein. Yes, protein में सबसे ज्यादा मात्रा में कौन सा एलिमेंट पाया जाता है? नाइट्रोजन. एंड फ्रॉम वेयर प्लांट्स गेट दिस नाइट्रोजन? Plants, leguminous plants get this nitrogen from the rhizobium bacteria, which is present inside the root nodules of plants. So this is called nitrogen fixation. What is this process called? Nitrogen fixation. Nitrogen fixation is done by rhizobium bacteria. I hope this topic is also clear to you. So let us move ahead. Here A very important question has been given. What are the differences between fertilizers and manure? And this is a very important question from the point of view of exams, especially in class 9th also. Differences between fertilizers and manure. So on the left hand side fertilizer has been given, and on the right hand side manures have been given. Now the first is, I hope most of the differences you are very well aware about. Let us read them and study them one by one. A fertilizer is an inorganic salt. Inorganic means it is not made of plants or animals. It is obtained from minerals from the earth. So fertilizer is inorganic salt, but manure is natural substance. Manure is natural substance. Now why manure is a natural substance? As you know, manure is obtained from plants or animals, and all the plants and animals are natural objects. So that's why we say that manure is a natural substance obtained by the decomposition of cattle dung, human waste and plant residues. And we get the manure by the decomposition of plant bodies, dead animal bodies, and the excreta of humans and animals. Excreta means waste material. Now the second difference, a fertilizer is prepared in factories. As I told you earlier in this topic that a fertilizer is always made inside the factories. Manures can be prepared in the field. Manures are always prepared by farmers inside their own fields. A fertilizer does not provide any humus to the soil. Yes, this is a very important difference which we did not study, I think, in the previous topic. फर्टिलाइजर जो होते हैं वो सॉइल को ह्यूमस नहीं देते हैं, ह्यूमस प्रोवाइड नहीं करते हैं. ह्यूमस क्या होता है? ह्यूमस इज ऑल्सो वी कैन से ऑर्गेनिक मटेरियल प्रेजेंट इनसाइड द सॉइल, एंड ह्यूमस इज provided by the dead and decaying animal bodies and plant residues. So fertilizer does not have any plant body. Fertilizers are not made by the animal bodies. So we can say that fertilizers do not provide any humus to the soil. What about the manure? क्या मैन्योर हमें या मिट्टी को ह्यूमस प्रोवाइड कराएंगे? ऑफ कोर्स कराएंगे, बिकॉज दे आर मेड ऑफ प्लांट एंड एनिमल बॉडीज. सो मैन्योर प्रोवाइड्स लॉट ऑफ ह्यूमस टू द सॉइल, लॉट ऑफ ह्यूमस. नाउ नेक्स्ट डिफरेंस इज fertilizers are very rich in plant nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. As I told you, fertilizers will give only 1 or 2 or maximum 3 types of nutrients, but in large quantities. But what about manure? Manures are relatively less rich in plant nutrients, but one very important fact is that they have almost all types of nutrients. In class 9th you will also study that there are almost 16 types of nutrients required by the plants for the proper growth. So I hope all the 4 differences are very much clear for you. What are the differences between fertilizers and manures? Now, advantages of manure. What are the advantages of manure? The organic manure is considered better than fertilizers. If you have studied the differences in a very well manner, then it is not difficult to answer about the advantages of manure. What is the first advantage that fertilizers do not provide? The first advantage of manure is it enhances the water holding capacity of the soil. ये हमारी मिट्टी की water retention capacity या water holding capacity को increase करते हैं. The second advantage is it makes the soil porous, due to which the exchange of gases become easy. Means they provide humus, so because of humus the soil becomes porous. And what happens when the soil becomes porous? It is very easy to exchange the gases, because in porous soil the air enters very easily. It increases the number of friendly microbes. When we add manure, that is organic material, so the number of friendly microbes and worms increase, because it is the food of the microbes and worms. So the number of friendly microbes increases, and ultimately the fertility of the soil increases. But what will happen if we mix fertilizers in the soil? Remember, fertilizers are pure chemical, and these chemicals will kill the microbes. These chemicals will kill the healthy worms for the soil. So it will ultimately decrease the fertility of the soil if we use large amount of fertilizers. And the last very important factor advantage is it improves the texture of the soil. It improves the quality of the soil. Now after completing the manure and fertilizer, that was the fifth agricultural practice, we have come to a very very important agricultural practice that is on the sixth step, that is irrigation. So we will start irrigation now. Irrigation. All living beings need water to live. As you all know, we are human beings and we cannot live for long time without water. Water is important for proper growth and development of flowers, fruits, seeds of plant, and water is used for proper growth. Without water we also cannot grow. So in the same way, without water, plants and plants parts can also not grow, cannot also develop. Water is absorbed by the plant roots. Which part of the plant absorbs the water? It is roots. Roots absorb water. Along with water, minerals and fertilizers are also absorbed. Since the water is in the soil and the soil has manure, soil has minerals and fertilizers, so all these things are dissolved in water. So with water, all the nutrients are also absorbed by the plants. Plants contain nearly 90% water. The plant body is composed of nearly 90% water. So much amount of water is present inside the plants. Water is essential because germination of seeds does not take place under dry condition. Very important point. Water is essential because germination of seeds means you must have observed when you eat sprouted seeds. You must have observed that these seeds are soaked in water for some time. Only then they start germinating, and white colored plumule and radicle you have seen originating from them. So it is very much clear that without water, germination of seeds can also not take place. So germination cannot take place under the dry conditions. Nutrients dissolved in water get transported to each part of the plant, and water is transported to all parts of the plant through xylem, you have studied. So along with water, nutrients are also transported to each part of the plant. Water also protects the crop from both frost and hot air currents. Frost means वेरी मच कोल्ड एंड हॉट एयर करंट्स, इन दोनों से भी प्लांट्स को कौन बचाता है? हमारी फसलों को कौन बचाता है? वाटर ही बचाता है. टू मेंटेन द मॉइस्चर ऑफ द सॉइल फॉर हेल्दी क्रॉप, टू मेंटेन द मॉइस्चर ऑफ द सॉइल फॉर हेल्दी क्रॉप ग्रोथ, fields have to be watered regularly. Means we have to provide water to the soil at a regular interval. Only then the moisture of the soil will be there and the crops will be grown in a healthy way. Now let us come to the term irrigation. What is the actual definition? Suppose somebody asks you what is the definition of irrigation, then what will you answer? So in these two lines the answer of this question is there. What is the definition of irrigation? Yeah, what is irrigation? So the supply of water to crops at different intervals is called irrigation. These two lines are giving you a proper definition of irrigation. What is irrigation? Supply of water. अच्छा, हम सप्लाई ऑफ वाटर किसको करते हैं? क्रोप्स को करते हैं. सो द सप्लाई ऑफ वाटर टू क्रोप्स, क्या हम एक पर्टिकुलर टाइम पर या इंटरवल पर इरिगेशन करते हैं? जैसे आपने अभी पानी पिया तो आप अगला जो आप पानी पिएंगे वो कुछ समय बाद पिएंगे कि आप तुरंत उसके बाद पिएंगे? आई थिंक योर आंसर विल बी आफ्टर सम regular interval. So in the same way we also need to supply water to crops, not continuously, at after some different interval. After a particular interval we need to water the crops. The time and frequency of irrigation varies from crop to crop. Means different crops need different crops need different timing of irrigation and different amount of irrigation, and it depends on crop to crop, soil to soil, and season to season. For example, in rainy season we do not need to water the plants frequently because natural rainfall replenishes the amount of water in the soil. Soil to soil means the soils with greater water retention capacities, they also do not to be watered very much, but in sandy soil or the dry soil we need to water them. So in summer the frequency of watering is higher. The same way in summer season we need to water the plants frequently because the evaporation from the soil reduces the amount of water. The evaporation of the soil, the evaporation of water from the soil reduces the amount of water, so we need to water the plants, water the soil frequently in summer season. Sources of irrigation. This is a very important part for you. Sources of irrigation. The sources of irrigation are wells, tube wells, ponds, lakes, rivers, dams and canals. As you know, all these water bodies have water inside them, so we can get water from any of these water bodies. Now we come to the traditional methods of irrigation. We will study two methods of irrigation, the traditional one and modern methods. Traditional and modern. So first of all we study the traditional method, and one thing I would like to tell you here, you do not need to go in deep about the traditional methods of irrigation. All you need to learn is their names and their diagrams. What you have to focus more on is modern methods. जो आपको ज्यादा फोकस करना है वो कौन सी मेथड्स हैं? मॉडर्न मेथड्स पर फोकस करना है. यू हैव टू रीड, यू हैव टू स्टडी दीज मेथड्स इन डिटेल. सो we just get an overview of the traditional methods. The water available in wells, lakes and canals is lifted up by different methods in different regions. Every different region in India has a different method for taking water to the fields. Cattle or human labor is used in these methods. Either human labor or the cattle do this or perform this work. So these methods are cheaper. They are very cheaper because they do not need electricity. They do not need any other special motors for them. The various traditional methods are moat or pulley system. This is a diagram of moat in which you can see a pulley is attached on one edge of the well. And the second is chain pump system. Third is dhekli. And fourth is rahat. So all these four names you have to remember. Now pumps are commonly used for lifting water. Pumps, we can use pump also for lifting water, and these pumps can run on diesel, biogas, electricity or solar energy. So these pumps are also available in the market, and farmers frequently use them to directly lift water from the rivers, which you will study in higher classes as the river lift system. What is this system called? River lift system. In this system, farmers directly lift water from the rivers using these pumps. Now we come to the modern methods of irrigation, and we have to study two methods here. Modern methods of irrigation help us to use water economically. Economically means it is used in those areas where water is in a scarce amount, water is in a scarce quantity, and in these two methods water is also wasted in a very less amount. Means there is not so much waste of water when we use these two methods or these two modern methods. The first is sprinkler system. Sprinkler system. The system sprinkle, I hope you know this word sprinkle. Sprinkle means होता है छिड़कना. Sprinkle का मतलब क्या होता है? छिड़काव करना. In let us study in this topic in detail. This system is more useful on the uneven land. Means this system is used where the land is not leveled, where sufficient water is not available. And one more thing should be there, that land is not equal, and that land is not even, and that land is also not having sufficient amount of water. Then what we do? What are the infrastructure for this? The perpendicular pipes. We just lay some perpendicular pipes. You can see these are the perpendicular pipes. Let me show you. These are the perpendicular pipes. Perpendicular means, you know, perpendicular means straight. They are standing straight at a 90-degree angle from the earth surface. This is called perpendicular. So these perpendicular pipes are there having rotating nozzles. इनके ऊपर क्या लगे रहते हैं? Rotating nozzle. Rotating means circular direction में move करते हुए nozzles. You can see here. These are the rotating nozzles. These are the rotating nozzles. Rotating nozzles. Having rotating nozzles on the top are joined to the main pipeline. ये main pipeline से जुड़े रहते हैं. Now let me show you where are the main pipelines. These are the main pipelines. ये आपकी मेन पाइपलाइंस हैं. वन मोर मेन पाइपलाइन लेट मी शो यू. दिस इज ऑल्सो वन मोर मेन पाइपलाइन. सो द परपेंडिकुलर पाइप्स ऑन विच द रोटेटिंग नोजल्स आर कनेक्टेड. दीज परपेंडिकुलर पाइप्स आर कनेक्टेड विद द हॉरिजॉन्टल मेन पाइप्स, एंड दीज मेन पाइप्स आर ऑलवेज हॉरिजॉन्टल. It gets sprinkled on the crop as if it is raining. And what is the system of giving water to the crops? It is sprinkled. Water is sprinkled, यानी छिड़काव के रूप में पानी crops के ऊपर गिरता है मानो raining हो रही हो. As if it is raining, just like rainfall, water falls on the crops. Sprinkler is very useful for sandy soil. रेतीली मिट्टी के लिए ये बहुत अच्छा सिस्टम होता है. नाउ द सेकंड इज ड्रिप सिस्टम. ड्रिप आप समझते हैं, ड्रिप मतलब होता है बूंद बूंद करके जाना. सो आई होप यू नो दिस वर्ड, ड्रिप सिस्टम. इन दिस सिस्टम द वाटर फॉल्स ड्रॉप बाय ड्रॉप जस्ट एट द पोजिशन ऑफ द रूट्स. मीन्स इन दिस सिस्टम water falls drop by drop. And where does it fall? It is actually or exactly given at the roots position. Means drop by drop roots के ऊपर पानी गिरता है. That's why it is called a drip system. तभी हम इसको क्या कहते हैं? ड्रिप सिस्टम कहते हैं. It is the best technique for watering fruit plants, gardens and trees. And as you can see, drip system is very, very useful technique for watering fruit plants, because fruit plants do not need large amount of water. Gardens also do not need large amount of water. Trees also. This system provides water to plants drop by drop. Since in this system water is given to plants not in a large quantity but in drop by drop system, in this way water is not wasted at all. So this is the best and economical way of using the water, and water is not wasted in this method. And certainly if water is not wasted, then this will be a boon. Boon means ये एक वरदान है ऐसे रीजन्स में जहां पर वाटर की अवेलेबिलिटी कैसी है? बहुत ही पुअर है. सो वी कैन से दैट drip system and sprinkler system, both these systems are very, very useful in places where water is in scarce quantity. Now let me show you. Here also horizontal pipes are there and vertical pipes are not there. You can see that vertical pipes are not connected with these horizontal pipes. Only this drip system has horizontal pipes, because the water has to be released at the root position and roots are on the surface. So vertical pipes do not have a use here. I hope these two systems are clear for you. Now we will come to the next part or the next agricultural activity, protection from weeds, but we will cover this topic in the next video. I hope all the topics till here are very much clear to you. So we will cover the next topic in the next video. तब तक के लिए आप सभी अच्छे से इनको और रिवाइज करें, वीडियो को बार बार देखें. स्टे होम, स्टे हेल्दी, स्टे सेफ, टेक केयर, गुड बाय.